Hello, welcome back to F1 Manager 24's Creator Team mode here in Monza. Next round here, same day, nothing's changed. Literally, we finished last episode actually only one day previously because we were dealing with the staff. So nothing's changed between there and now. In terms of the game itself, I have made a change. There's no news for stuff that you actually manage on here, but I've made a change under the hood. Because Zandvoort happened in real life roughly the same time as it's happened for me in game. I literally recorded the race the morning of the actual race in real life. I could compare and contrast pretty easily. So in real life, spoilers if you've not watched it, but Lando won by about 20 seconds. Here, he was 42 seconds off the lead. So basically the McLarens are a minute worse off than it should be. And frankly, the only reason why they were third and fourth is because Carlos Sainz had a major engine issue, as did Charles Leclerc. So they're obviously a little bit off the pace because of that. So I went under the hood and I did have a look at what the performance indexes were for every single car, which you don't get shown anywhere in the game itself, but there are tools to look at them. And the gap from the front, which was Red Bull, they're on 63%, and the back was about 23-24%. Sauber are on 39 point something, and Red Bull are on 63 point something. That's quite a massive gap, and it's basically been the same as that. It's basically been the same for the entirety of the season. They just change around a little bit. It's not a huge amount of difference, but it's been about the same gap. It's just moved up as time's gone on. Frontier's last patch fixed or changed, at the very least updated the car performance index for new saves. Obviously it doesn't apply to saves that are already happening. So I kind of took it upon myself to try and implement that into this save, because Max Verstappen's winning basically every race, which he isn't doing in real life, and it's getting a bit boring. Also, the lapping situation is getting very irritating, and closing that performance index should help the lapping situation, because drivers should not be being lapped 4 times. In real Zandvoort, I think they lapped up to Lance Stroll, maybe, who was outside the points. Maybe they just got to the points drivers. I can't quite remember exactly, but they weren't lapping all the way up to 6th, and they certainly weren't lapping drivers 4 times. I think they may have got Joe Granu twice in real life, but in this, Logan Sargent was lapping Valtteri Bottas when he crashed into Valtteri Bottas. So I don't know if he ever got him again by the end of that race, but 19th place should not be lapping 20th place. So the gap from first to last was about 23 seconds, as I say. It's now about 16-17. So I've closed it by about a quarter. So it's not going to fix this properly, but it's not going to be as bad. I've tried to maintain the gaps and obviously keep all the teams in the same order as they were before, but the gap between the front 3 and Mercedes, who are 4th, has closed, and therefore so is the gap to 5th and 6th in RB and Aston Martin. So the gap between the front has closed in a little bit. Don't really know what to do with RB. They were a bit bad in Zandvoort in real life, so I don't know if they have taken a step backwards in real life. But I don't really want to... I'm trying to do a blend of updating for real life and rewarding in-game, because Yuki Tsunoda in-game has been really good, so I don't want to suddenly just harm him and his charge for being like the best of the rest. And similarly with Alpine obviously be doing a lot better in real life now, but in-game they've not been great, and I still want them to earn that in-game. So it's a weird little things I'm going to have to keep maintaining, but I've basically made McLaren the best car now, as they are in real life, moved them up a few percentages, and they're only a marginal better than Red Bull, so it's still going to be a fight between Lando, Max and Piastri and all that. They should still be close together, and probably closer than they were in real life in Zandvoort, but by the end of that. But Max literally hasn't won any of the last 5 races in real life, and he's won 9 of the 15 races in this game. It's a bit dumb. It might even be 10 now. And crucially, for our own road to glory purposes, we've not got closer to the team in front of us by a significant margin. It was about 4%. It's now about 3 and a bit percent. I just had to take a little bit out of that just to make sure the teams at the back could close in a little bit more. Strictly speaking, actually, even though we have got a smidgen closer to Aston Martin's performance, who were the team ahead of us, the teams behind us have got a lot closer as a result of that, because they've all closed up behind us. They've all concertinas behind us. So we're actually more in danger from the teams behind than we were before. So whilst we have made a little bit of an advance just by virtue of this in forwards, we're actually now more in danger behind us. So there's a bit of give and take with that. It's not all a benefit, and it's not going to benefit us too much as a result of that. It's going to make getting out of Q1 harder, crucially. But it is Monza. It's a track I like. I just felt it was time to make a change like that, because there were too many things that in that Zandvoort race that annoyed the heck out of me and were hurting my own enjoyment. and therefore, I presume, not really that helpful for you as viewers either, because it obviously translates and comes through, and the way I care about the series as a whole. So, in order to prevent me from getting disillusioned like I did last year, I had to do something. But race targets, we're going to maintain 18th.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, with the Italian Grand Prix. Welcome to Life in the Fast Lane. We're here at Monza in Italy, the home of Ferrari. But who will take home the points this weekend?
Red Bull have outscored their rivals to be at the top of the constructors' table right now. And as the final round begins, what a season it's been.
There's nothing like a race weekend in Formula One.
Rain in qualifying maybe, but of course, as always, that's where I'll see you. Practice might give me an indication of how people are closer, but I don't think it will do. This is very much going to be a test that we find out in the race, but I will see you for qualifying shortly.
Our weekend continues with qualifying, as the drivers fight it out for a strong grid position.
As we've already seen, Monza is a fast circuit. And it's no wonder the locals call it La Pista Magica, the magic track. For 80% of this lap, the cars are at full throttle, and the engines will need to give it everything they've got here in qualifying.
Karun, there's Yuki Tsunoda. How would you describe things for him at the moment?
The main thing on my mind was their speed in practice. They just weren't that fast. But was that down to the driver, the car, the team experimenting? We don't know, and we'll just have to see how they fare in qualifying.
Well, we're certainly ready in the commentary box. The drivers are getting ready down in the pit lane, and it's time for qualifying.
Okay, so our first taste of this, hopefully, slightly more bunched up field incoming. As I say, it's going to make qualifying more interesting, I think. It's going to make Q1s in particular more interesting, because I think it's going to effectively make any of the 5 bottom teams in danger, which includes ourselves, a little bit more. Before, we seem to be getting through perfectly fine. And I think it could provide a little bit more of a shock for those kind of ones more on the fringe, like the RBs, the Aston Martins. Top 4 should be well out of it. But it just makes them a little less of a certainty, as Piastri is hounding Maloney. Immediately, Albon 10th. I forgot about the rain, which is going to be a problem. Maloney's out then. Ocon's going in again. I genuinely want to see if he improves on a track that is now got water on it. I'm not expecting an improvement. And now that he's actually finished the lap, I can see what he did. 120, 17, 122, 3. Yeah, massively slower. Okay. In fact, that's actually getting a lot wetter than it said he was going to. Yeah. Tsunoda of all people went again there as well. No idea why. So, mixed through. Zane isn't. Already, we've fallen on the first hurdle. I like these changes already. And Bottas got through, crucially, as well. That's a big change for them. I should, in theory, actually put a little bit more impetus on the driver as well. Again, because if the cars are closer together, then the driver's more important. Starts intermediate this time round. Right then, Mick, let's see if we can get something. Ideally, we want to be out there, but I think 2 laps at the beginning isn't going to put us in jeopardy of that. We should be fine to get 2 laps in and get back out for that optimum spot. Doesn't matter, Mick. You've not done a lap yet, mate. Don't worry about it. You've not hurt anything. You're fine. You may have hurt the tyres. I can't see what they are. So we need to get Mick going as quickly as possible to make the most of this. We have just missed it. It has come a little bit earlier than it was originally prescribed to be. Bottas in the top 8. I'm liking this change already. I mean, obviously the rain's part of this, but if we can get Mick doing a flying lap now whilst it's still 1.11, it's going to go up as he goes around the lap, I think. But he's got a clean track to do it on, I think. He may catch maybe that AlphaTauri towards the back, but he'll definitely do a faster lap than he did the first time. It's just under 0.5 millimetre less rain on track as he's starting this lap, so he should definitely be faster. He's got his tyres up to temperature. Everything's being pushed. This is a 1-lap blitz whilst it's at its driest. I think the McLaren's decided to come out again now as well. Or they just did a lap, maybe. Oh no, they came out with us, didn't they? And we drove away from them. So they're on a flying lap now as well. Past the first sector, unsurprising. It's staying the same level of damp, which is surprising me a little bit because I thought it might start getting wetter again. Ah, there we goes. Just as we get towards sector 3, really. It's starting to get a smidge worse, but not much yet. Better middle sector. We could cheese the system here a little bit. We may have timed this just about fine enough. The AlphaTauri was on track on a flying lap, and I don't know which one it was. It was Daniel Ricciardo, who didn't actually improve. But Mick will definitely improve here. By how much? No idea. 12th, I'll take. Ahead of Ricciardo. Ahead of Stroll as things stands. And it's only going to get wetter from here, so we should be alright. But Bottas in the top 10 is an immediate change, and I'm loving it. Out of nowhere, suddenly top 10 Bottas. Somebody did just go into the top 10. Was it Piastri who was outside of it before? Perhaps. Or at least behind Bottas. But mixed on now. He's not going to do a better lap now. Oh, Bottas has been pushed to 11th. Stroll got in. Leclerc's got in. Albon's got past Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg's got past Albon again. We're 14th. But Bottas is between the Aston Martins, which is fantastic to see. Hulkenberg's got a penalty, though. But already a bit of a mix-up. I'm liking it. Top 10 still the RBs, though. But Hamilton doing much better. We'll see how they do in Q3. Piastri on pole. McLaren, improving McLaren has helped out a little bit. But Lando only 5th, so it's still, a bit on the driver. Although there's clearly a situation with rain. It's Piastri from Perez, from Sainz, from Hamilton, who clearly did dry laps. And then 6 drivers who didn't. Would have loved to have watched that unfold.
Well, it won't be long before the drivers hit the track for 53 laps around Monza, in what should be a fast and fantastic race.
Monza has seen some incredible moments in the past. Pierre Gasly's unexpected 2020 victory reminded us of how wonderfully unpredictable this sport can be.
At Monza, the aim is clear. Pure acceleration is what the track demands, and every F1 driver is only too happy to submit. Cars that struggle for downforce elsewhere could really come into their own around this gem of a circuit. The time has almost come for our drivers to fight it out wheel to wheel. Race day has arrived.
Crofty did obviously hint towards something there. Why, on paper, it did still say 13th, 14th for us at this track, but low speed is now our strength. So high speed is not great for us. So it's not ultimately surprising that we are possibly going to struggle. Is two pit stops better? No. Okay, I can say because we'll have the soft tires for it now. But that obviously should be the other way around. Go on it earlier, have the space to burn at the beginning. In fact, that's actually given him the option to do that as a different... Did I just miss that on mix? No, he just had it the other way around. That was so weird. But that's the way to do it. 1.8 only allows us to take 5 out, so it's a very thirsty track then. It seems like it must be very difficult to get fuel back here if it's saying we can only take 5 laps out maximum. Which makes me only want to take 2 and then push a little bit more. Because I typically go halfway, but there's only obviously 5 laps, so there's 2.5, and I don't know which way to take this. I think I'll take it less, and then I can push it harder at the beginning. There's a good chance of incident here at Monza, really. People tend to crash in that first chicane, especially. But it's 14th, 16th.
Well then, it's not long until we get started here, and we should be in for a tightly contested race. Here's a determined Sainz lining up on the grid.
They've done so well to secure a P3 grid position. Can they turn this into a podium finish though?
This should certainly be a good one, folks. Here we are at the oldest circuit in Europe for this, the Italian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
As they also alluded to in that pre-race VT, Pierre Gasly, of course, with a surprise victory here for then AlphaTauri. Before that, Vettel for then Toro Rosso. And of course, Ricciardo for a McLaren that wasn't very good at the time. It is a track that can bring a surprise winner out, as Mick manages to fend off Albon. I kind of forgot that Maloney was starting 16th because of Hulkenberg's penalty. It was 14th, 17th, of course. We'll see how Bottas fares in these early stages with a... I mean, really speaking, their car specifically is 6% better off than it was before out of 100. So, in terms of its actual original quality, it's about, what, a tenth better? 15% better than it was before? Because it was 39, now it's 46 or something like that. I think they might be on hard, and I must remember to double check to see if I can fix this graphical issue, because I think it comes from a secondary thing. Apologies for now. Okay, so Bottas is struggling in the race to keep up with Stroll, so there was a bit of a qualifying. Apologies for the ghosting you are seeing, but Perez is the front with Sainz and Piastri now third. McLaren's bad first laps is apparently still coded in game. What is it with McLaren and getting off the line badly? Verstappen's down to 8th. He's had a terrible start. Mick up the inside of Bottas, though. He started on a hard tyre, did Bottas. That's probably part of it, actually, why you're struggling to keep up. But good to get a move done quickly. And actually, Mick's going for Alonso as we interrupt that to watch the overtake. Yeah, so he should be a fraction closer to Aston Martin, but it's still a significant margin. They're still about 3% better than us as a whole. I forget what the exact numbers are, but it's like 53 to 56 or something like that. And now I watch the Alonso overtake. So this is just us being probably lighter and being aggressive at this stage. I don't know really what happened with Alonso there. He must have been a little bit slow out that first chicane because he was miles off there. Mick now pressuring Bottas, Zayn now pressuring Bottas as well. Actually down to 4th as things stand. That's wild. In fact, DRS has got Zayn past Bottas, as Mick's having to defend. Well, watch Zayn on Bottas as he's struggling with hard tyres and just the Sauber pace. So Monza's a 1 minute 20 something lap, isn't it? So it's a bit longer. It's only 53 laps obviously of the actual race. Obviously, the shorter laps, the quicker lap times, places like Zandvoort obviously are more conducive to lapping just because there's more laps to do it and it's a shorter lap to get round. But that issue is something I want to pay attention to as well going forward here.
Rear left if you can at all.
Oh my god, that's not how cars turn. Stroll struggling to keep up on their zone one as Mick manages to fend off Alonso there. Impressive. But Stroll's not keeping in touch of Bottas, who's now down to 16th. Anyone else on a hard tyre? Anyone else doing the reverse? No, it's just Bottas being weird. I saw 82% mediums is a curious situation. I didn't get a message from anyone going wide or spinning or anything like that early on. The priest only qualified 10th as well, so he's not gone down the order. Mick doesn't have DRS, but he's managed to keep Alonso behind there. And crucially, he's got into Strolls if he can, perhaps.
Close up the gap. Okay, mode push.
Zayn's actually making Alonso look behind him. Unfortunately, the detection point for the main straight is the other way round. So Mick doesn't have DRS, but he is closing on Stroll now. Gasly has a mechanical fault. Did they touch there? Oh, no, there's something in front. It's got Maloney caught up. It's Yuki Tsunoda's had a mare. How the hell is that not more than just a yellow flag? It's Yuki and Verstappen. Actually completely separate from any other incident. People just driving the gravel to go around it. As Zayn decides to not notice it and get caught out. But I don't know how that's not more than a yellow flag. He was facing the wrong way. But he's now at the back of the field. Mixed up to 11th as a result of that. And definitely in the DRS train now that starts with Leclerc. Unfortunately now Maloney's off. So I'm going to keep Maloney pushing just to make sure Albon doesn't get in his DRS. He doesn't get it. He didn't have DRS, but he's still closing just from drafting. Leclerc has damage. Did he clock the RB when he tried to go past it? Was he behind it in the first place? All right, no need for language, Mick. Alonso's struggling to keep up, and even recovering fuel here, Mick is staying with Stroll, which is good. In fact, I might even have a look here. Ultimately, we should fall over pace-wise, just because long-term we are obviously under-fueled. We are lighter, and only unsuccessfully has allowed Albon through here. Straight speaking, Zayn's the better driver. He's 79. So the fact he's worse is weird. Okay, Alex, calm down. Well, we need to recover a bit of fuel because I don't think we're going to get it naturally here, judging by the limited removal we could apply before the race. It has unfortunately put a gap in. I mean, it's great to have a gap in case there's a situation later on that means we have to double stack. But so Mick's just staying in range for, say, bring it back to medium just to stay in the DRS for the main straight. So Zayn gets him back, unsurprisingly, but Albon will get him immediately here. I'm not even going to bother watching it. So I kind of want Mick to just hold fire here in 11th. Bottas is down to 17th. Yeah, Albon's got him back. Unsurprising. DRS. There we go. This is going to hurt confidence long term. Can't really do much about it. They are adrift. They are in a 2x. They're fighting each other. They're just a pair. Whereas Mick's at the back of a train, which is better, of course, because it means he's less likely to get Stroll. Leclerc must have reasonable damage here, because it's not on the wing. I don't know how you find out. You did lose 2 places. So it must be underfloor or something. Magnussen's is still that weird engine thing. I don't know what's going on there. What? Hang on. Where's Zayn done that? Into turn 4, 5? I forget which number it is. Yeah, this chicane anyway. It might not be... I'm going to say... Confidence is going to be a problem long term here. Because it might not be a bad thing. Because Albon might get him here. So it might be good for that. Because then it means he's in the prime position on the main straight instead. Ocon fighting Magnussen back there. Oh, we saw that overtake live. Hamilton's actually leading, by the way, which is nice. It's really Mercedes that benefited from that change the most of all, because obviously in reality it's McLaren and then a smidge of a gap to Red Bull just for overall pace, and then Ferrari and Mercedes are close-ish behind. So it is Mercedes that have benefited from that, because I tried to replicate that first and foremost. That's what's allowed everyone else to be dragged forward and it's really the gap between Ferrari and Mercedes that's closed the most. And obviously McLaren to Red Bull because they've gone the other way. But yeah, I'm not going to watch you for this because it's getting quite annoying that you're just overtaking each other because you're going to hurt your confidence long term. Yeah, so we're on track. So we gave that buffer there. Like, tyre strategy-wise, it's going to be a bit boring. But hopefully, fight-wise, it's going to be a little bit more interesting. Hamilton now down to third as he had no DRS. In fact, fourth, because Piastri's going to get him as well. This is interesting. Already more interesting at the front. We're only lap 7, but they've not exactly segregated out. And Verstappen is a coming back up to 5th. Norris down to 6th with his issue, of course, but may have been detached to begin with. Now been brought into it by the fighting ahead. If anything, this lot might be too close now. But it is Monza, and there are 2 significant DRS zones, so it might be a bit tighter here anyway. Naturally. In fact, this train has caught Russell and Ricciardo as Mick. Because hey, we shouldn't be faster than Aston Martin at this point. Ignore this ghosting. I've watched the wrong replay. That's Albon getting past Maloney for the 80th time this race already. All right, I don't think he'd be that enthusiastic these days at this point, having done it multiple times already. I want this replay as Mick's now in peak confidence. Am I just not going to get the replay from Mick on Stroll? Wait, how am I getting Maloney overtakes? Oh, because Albon just overtook Maloney. Yeah. So he's done it before the DRS again, which is going to make this annoying as it happens back again. I'm always tempted to make him just like conserve behind him for a bit, just to make sure we don't get that anymore. Interesting, Stroll's dropped off. Start harvesting zone. I'm getting a little bit fed up if I'm honest. Don't harvest that badly. Hamilton now has a mechanical fault and he's now 6th at the back of this match, which now is a Ferrari leading to the delight of the Ferrari fans, the Tifosi in the stands. Verstappen's up to 3rd. Norris obviously with an issue, still hanging on. Yeah, I'm just fed up with them overtaking each other, so I'm actually kind of glad he's not in DRS anymore. Might sabotage him by telling him to harvest at the wrong place. Schumacher has lost 2 positions, is 1.8 behind. Has he got like hugely compromised out here or something? Yeah, he got forced off the track. Well, that's fun. So confidence, still very high. He's all right. I'm going to keep harvesting because we've only got 1 kilogram back in about 10 laps. Well, no, I suppose it's less than 10 laps, isn't it? But Mick's now detached, so he's not going to catch up. Although, Bottas has a mechanical fault. That's not what I want the replay for. Leclerc's had a moment, evidently. That's the replay I wanted. It's fighting what I presume to be Stroll. He's actually just spun on his own regard. Thank you, Charles, for the bad language. And it's thankfully allowed Mick to get back into the DRS range of the Astons. If he manages to stay there, of course. Didn't quite nab it. Does mean Charles is going to have to come back through Mick here, though, unfortunately. But he isn't going to have to fend off Albon and Maloney first, just because... Okay, so Mick is in DRS range. We're getting back in conserve again. He's got someone to fight. And it's for a point as well. How badly damaged is Leclerc? Because Maloney did fight him there. As Leclerc fights Albon ahead, he has dropped him out of DRS range as a result. Snowden's back up to 15th, recovering. Bottas on his hard is down to 17th. Shogun Du's doing fine in 17th, actually. It's not bad from them. I do wonder what the car situation is for this lot behind. Ocon must have already pitted, actually, thinking about it. Ocon had an incident that I never saw. And there's a replay here I do need to see, actually. I just noticed that. It's fighting Aston. I'll be honest, this feels a smidge undeserved, but I don't know if this is just because our fuel is less. So we've got a little bit of speed bonus because of that right now. So that's more just the gaming the system rather than actually altering things in the background. Because we shouldn't be that much closer to Aston Martin. We should still be a margin off them. And Red Bull, RB, sorry. We should be a margin off both Aston and RB who are close together, theoretically. So I think this is a bit DRS and a bit Stroll specific situation because he's not in DRS of Alonso. So this is a bit DRS. This is a bit fueling. Alani's back in Albon's though. I'm just wondering, if I tell you to top up, will you not fight? I'm not going to tell you to harvest because you'll get dropped entirely. But if I tell you to top up once you're already behind again, because you will inevitably be behind again. Verstappen now is... The entire top 6 have issues apart from Sainz, I think, who has the fastest lap. So out of the top 4 teams, it's only Sainz without an issue and Russell without an issue, which is wild. 2 of them are aerodynamic damage. 3 of them are mechanical damage. Mickey, you behind again? Good. Start topping up. That might be the pace differential that keeps you in DRS but not overtaking. Because you're going to start having this confidence issue that Zane has as well. And actually, Zane's confidence might actually be keeping him behind Albon now, I say, as he actually goes for the overtake and fails, which is going to actually hurt him more, weirdly. Sonoda and Magnussen are close enough in pace now they actually are fighting each other and preventing Sonoda's progress through. Gasly's got through Zhou Guanyu, who is fading now for some reason. Doing all right, tyre-wise. Bottas is coming a little bit more into it as the mediums wear off. Maloney's now through. Mick is still fighting despite topping up on ERS. Fighting but not passing, crucially. And has now passed. Okay, it's lap 17. We're back to minus 2.2, 2.3 respectively. We're actually not far off basically having a lap of fuel. So I might actually come off conserving at this stage. Sorry, I was so focused on the Leclerc joining Stroll and Mick that I completely forgot to pay attention to Zane, who is now being passed by Tsunoda. But in the process, we're joined by Magnussen, and Albon is now 60th. And Zane's now chasing Tsunoda instead, as Schumacher gets Stroll again, despite still on recovery. Honestly, come off top off now, mate. I think for whatever reason, you have the pace now. You won't have DRS, and you have an Aston Martin and a Ferrari hunting you. But Maloney now has a driver ahead of them who is that much faster that he can't pass them with DRS, which is crucial. Mick's now been taken by both of them, which is why his confidence down to medium. It's a problem. Although we're not far off pitting, to be fair. I know we've lost 2 positions. I might as well watch it. There's certainly a lot more happening. That's partially because it's Monza and DRS is the thing. So Mick actually does fight Leclerc off a bit, but ultimately has to concede there. Not forced off the track this time, thankfully. But that's where our top speed comes as a problem, is we don't get the drive off turns like that. In fact, Maloney can't even keep up with Tsunoda. I thought he might be able to DRS him for a bit. But we're lap 18 and we've got enough fuel back that we can feel confident that we can recover it in the second half. Because there's still a good chance we may be lapped in this race. The leader is there. We are... What's the gap to leader? 27 by lap 18. 36.54. We'd be in danger of being lapped by the end of the race, ultimately, with Zane in particular. Mick maybe less so. So Magnussen's going to get Maloney here. Albon struggled to keep up for whatever reason. But Mick will fight Magnussen back. But Zane's going to fight Magnussen back here. Confidence is very low. This is the problem here at Monza in particular. The confidence system is a joke. Sorry, Leclerc overtakes Schumacher, who was already ahead of him. Tsunoda's just absolutely bolted, by the way. He's going for it now. Confidence back to low by getting Magnussen. I'm going to see if I can drop Magnussen. So Magnussen's going to have DRS on this straight, but I'm going to see if I can drop him. Just because I don't want him behind us, hounding us every turn. Because I want to get Maloney's confidence up, and he can't do that if he's constantly fighting someone. Yeah, Mick's now got an issue because Leclerc's come through, Tsunoda's come through. In fact, actually, he's been dropped by Tsunoda, so that's an opportunity to come off ERS battle assist, at least. And he should now at least be free to drive by himself. Like I say, it was a fun first 20 laps where we kind of had the fuel advantage in particular, so that we had the weight advantage, but now the confidence system's going to hurt them, and the fuels we're closer in weight to everyone else now, so that everyone else is getting their differential back speed-wise. And we're back to 13th, 14th, so we're still back to where we normally are. We just had a little bit longer fun-wise. I'm going to have to wait a lap for Maloney just because we are a little bit close. We could double stack. We have just enough space to double stack. 3.6, but I'm going to give it an extra lap. In fact, I might even tell him to conserve this lap just to get that fuel back to roughly where Mix is. In fact, I'll just tell him to pit next lap. Get it set up now. See, now we're not being dragged along. That gap to the front is going to get bigger, which obviously is going to increase our chance of being lapped by the end of the race. Because if we've not had an incident by about lap 35, I think it would be, roughly, we're going to have to then conserve again to make sure we get to the end without being lapped. So Mick comes in the same lap as Magnussen, comes out alongside Hulkenberg. It's a bad spot to come out in, but we couldn't really push those tyres any more than we already had. Similarly, we'll just get these up to temperature and then we'll leave that there. Pop back on battle assist just so we can get past Hulkenberg easily. Grab the DRS and then drive away. Lovely. Love to see that. Won't bother watching that. That was just a lapping, but it was crucial that he did that on his outlap. 2.514. That might be our fastest stop ever. Albon comes in the same lap. Sargent's still going. Mixing his DRS range now, but not close enough to fight him at this stage. Stroll's pitted and come out. Actually there. That's wild. So Maloney's lost his advantage to Magnussen. He's going to have to deploy away from him again. But because of Sargent, Stroll's been absolutely mugged off here. Who hasn't pitted? Zhou Guanyu Tsunoda. Okay, so because Magnussen had his tyres up to temperature, Schumacher's got Sargent, but what's Stroll done here? So Stroll pushed Sargent off the road. But Nick's now back with Stroll again. I mean, he's saying that to Stroll, not Sargent. So Maloney now with tyres back up to temperature roughly, I would say. Deploy away, my friend. Deploy away. Or don't deploy away, whatever. Leave him alone. Just leave Magnussen alone. I just don't want you DRSing past someone and back and forth for a while. Harvest up, get that energy back, and then you can fight him later on. I just give up. I give up with you, Zane. To be honest with you, I give up. Well, that's the Zhou Guan Yu haven't pitted, despite the fact that Zhou Guan Yu's on a medium still. Right, yeah, so we've allowed Magnussen to have a gap, which is great. Just because it means we're not going to be faffing around every single pissing lap. Hamilton's fault's getting worse. Mixed in a train that starts with Hamilton. Because there's two Saubers just kind of being annoying and bottlenecking everyone. Which is fun for Mick, really. Hamilton's really lost out, actually. He's down now to 9th. Obviously, his issue's getting worse, but he's down to 9th now. Verstappen's issue sorted itself out. Norris's remains. Hamilton remains has gotten worse. I'm trying to work out what Mick's doing here, because he's directly behind Zhou Guan Yu on 29% tyres. He's got past him. I'll rewatch that because it was a bit weird, but I did think he was just going to drive behind Zhou Guan Yu, but he did decide to follow Stroll through in the end. Like I say, tyre strategy-wise, a bit boring. Everyone's done the same thing apart from Bottas, but everyone's a little bit more in it, which is kind of the fun thing. Bottas obviously still going on a hard, so he won't be pitting anytime soon. Though he's on 40%, so he's burned those hards. He's got to be going for a little bit longer, I suppose, but he has burned those hards. Zhou Guan Yu and Sargent finally pit themselves. I say he's burned them. I suppose we did pit lap 20, so if he pits... Oh no, we'd have to get to 33 to get to, like, 22. 30. If you can get 4 more laps on, I suppose you won't have to push the mediums too hard. But he's got to make those hards last, which is going to be tricky for him. As Mick's now having to go into the Degners. That's wild. In fact, that might actually give Mick DRS on Stroll. And does. Albon has a mechanical fault. That's getting worse. Schumacher overtakes Bottas. I mean, this is the great move. I know he's on an old hard wheel and a new hard, but that is not a place I normally see an overtake. Mick's making a habit of that, actually. The unconventional overtake spots. We're crucially Mick staying in the DRS range of Stroll. Still no major incidents. We just had Yuki Tsunoda going round. He's now back up to 11th. He's ahead of Stroll again, somehow. He pitted early, though, which probably helped him get a smidge of an undercut. Norris and Piastri haven't pitted yet. I don't know what they're doing. They're going to have better hards by the end of the race, but they are compromising their race now. See, like I say, I can make McLaren the best one, but they can still be stupid in their strategies. Can I deploy away from Stroll?
Copy.
Probably can, but he'll probably get me back, is the problem. No, the answer is no, I can't deploy away from Stroll. All right, try and top up behind him instead then, without passing him. Oh, something happened and Stroll... I think Stroll may have forced Mick off at some point. He's driving by himself now, so I'll give him the ERS battle assist off. I'll do the same as Zane because he's not fighting anyone as things stand. Piastri now has a mechanical fault. Norris is getting worse. They've both pitted now, thankfully. Have they lapped anyone yet? No. I mean, it's progress. They've not lapped anyone yet. I know it's a longer lap, but bear in mind they got lapped 4 times last time by the end of the race. I was just zooming around as if nothing was happening, but actually, Mick and Hamilton are back in Stroll's DRS here. Maloney's slowly homing in on Magnussen, but not massively so. So Hamilton with a massive issue, Norris with a massive issue. Piastri's got both normal and mechanical issues. Ricciardo's up to 5th with the fastest lap. Okay. 4th, make that. So is this the issue? I mean, this will obviously bunching everyone up as car performance-wise will make the issues more impactful as well. So if a car's got an issue, it's going to push them obviously a lot further down performance-wise, which is going to push them into more other teams' territory. So an issue to Mercedes now might be more in our territory to be able to actually get past and stay past, for instance. Whereas last time Russell was still lapping faster. But we'll have DRS on Stroll again now, thanks to that. It's not fighting for a point, annoyingly. We still need someone to drop out of that top. But Ricciardo is... Well, Ricciardo's going to put Mick well out of any reach by the end of this season, so it has actually really hurt us by making them comparatively better as well. Because Ricciardo's now 4th and staying 4th. Verstappen and Oily are still winning because of these issues to McLaren. It's really hurting them. Norris is really struggling. This has to be engine for them. It is engine. Piastri's was engine, but he's got an issue with something else. Verstappen's would have been ERS, I imagine, for whenever long it lasted. Yeah, it was only 3 laps. Hamilton's is engine, so that's why he is bad. And Albon's is engine as well. But that's good to see the engine issue now, because everyone's a little bit closer together, is being more impactful. It's kind of a secondary effect of everything. Because the teams are closer together, the engines are actually more noticeable. Issues are more noticeable. Admittedly, Hamilton is still staying close and Mick did stay in Stroll's DRS for whatever reason. I wonder if he tried to fight him and then he just got slammed off. Right, let's just be... As actually, I've just noticed he is in his DRS again for Magnussen, so let's get battle assist back on again. Maloney's realistically got a lap more of tyres hasn't he? So I could push everything on him. I did say I was going to, once he's confirmed ahead, get out of there. Go for it. I'm going to have to recover fuel, though. I think we've got just enough laps to get what we need back, but... So Mick has dropped Hamilton, crucially. So I'm just going to get him to deploy away for Hamilton, just make sure that doesn't become a problem. If I can get Zane out of a second of Magnussen, if I can get Zane out of it, there we go. That's fine, I completely forgot about you, if I'm completely honest there, Mick. Top up now, mate. Stroll's now got a mechanical fault as Zane gets past Hamilton. We'll watch that highlight because it's happened twice now. Hamilton's issue is actually a huge problem for him, clearly. Yeah, it's embarrassing for the Mercedes to have an issue that bad. See, this is what I wanted. I wanted the issues to actually have an impact. I wasn't really thinking about it when I was doing the fix, but last time we watched Russell have a problem and just still be faster. Now they're actually coming into play. Albon's issue is actually so bad he's ended up at the back, but he may have pitted again. No, he hasn't. Albon's issue is so bad he has ended up at the back, and so has Bottas's. Ricciardo's now got a mechanical fault for good measure. Jesus wept. Sainz and Verstappen are actually fighting to the end, which is good. I mean, we're not really fighting for anything. We are 12th and 13th because of Hamilton, and that's it. So it's still a bit status quo, but it's a little bit more of a chance for us. As Norris's issue is taking him well down the order. Stroll's issue is getting... Hello. Sorry, Stroll's issue's got worse. Stroll's issue got worse. I don't know why they give us highlights for these, because this is the only way of finding out what they actually are. It's engine. All of a sudden... I mean, it's 11th. All of a sudden... Unfortunately, Norris is so far ahead, we'll never get him. But if Norris's issue blows up...
How are the tires?
Bear in mind, Norris and Hamilton, I think, were the first twos to go 2 orange. There's a good chance they could turn red and retire them in these last 4 laps. I feel like Mick's actually going to struggle to get to the end of this race, even with everything. As, speaking of, fuel gets good for Zane Maloney by lap 49. 5 seconds behind Mick, comfortable behind. Verstappen and Sainz continue to contest the lead. Piastri and Perez contest the podium. At the very least, it's a lot closer than it was last race. But can Mick make the most of Stroll's issue here and close in? I think, annoyingly... Oh, no. On the straight is having an effect, at least. Because obviously top speed is going to be the hindrance. So it's the straights where they're going to hurt badly for Stroll. Annoyingly, the Aston is still seemingly good in the corners. And perhaps he had a bit of deployment still. I mean, there's a chance still Norris blows up here. But after the last time of hoping somebody blows up and nobody blowing up in like 30 laps of still having orange issues, are we genuinely going to catch him on the last lap here? We've got to 1.6 as Verstappen starts the final lap having dropped Sainz. He's still winning, but it wasn't an easy ride. So it's final lap for him, but we're not on that lap. They've actually only lapped up to... They will get to Gasly, I think, by the end of this final lap, but they have only lapped up to Gasly in 16th. So that's better. So Mick's still got a lap to get Stroll here. I mean, it's for an 11th. It's not going to help unless Norris decides to retire on this final lap. Deploy, my friend. Deploy. Zane's not fighting for anything, so I might as well just leave him to it. We'll put battle assist on as well, because he'll get in range. He's in range. So it is worth noting we're only getting past Stroll because he's had a serious fault. So we're still not great. How have you been mugged off there, Mick? You had the DRS. How have you been mugged off? Go on, Mick. Get him in Parabolica. Get him in Parabolica. No, Mick. No. How have you allowed this to happen? It doesn't matter. Ultimately, no one else just got destroyed, but it's better. It's better at the top, at least. I mean, Russell 5th is nice to see a Mercedes up there for a change. Obviously, that's issues to Norris and Hamilton and Leclerc, who had technical, aerodynamical issues from crashing and spinning and things. So, actually, Sainz got close in the end again. Verstappen's won, but it wasn't an easy ride like it was last race, which is better. I don't know why they always focus on Zane, but it's Max from Carlos from Oscar Piastri, who might generally be the first time I've seen him on the podium, apart from the race he won. I think he won a race at some point.
To stop them winning this year. Amazing consistency.
I mean, I've tried, Karun, I've tried. Still up 5 places, but never mind. Daniel and Yuki up 2 places, but that's largely because of the drivers that have gone backwards, realistically. It's Charles Leclerc's issues and Lando's issues. Hamilton as well. Hamilton was 4th. So realistically, both of them were passed by George as well. So RB aren't overpowered as such. They've just benefited from other cars going backwards. And Daniel Ricciardo actually qualified ahead of Tsunoda for a change. That will take Daniel well out of reach of Mick, though, those 8 points. Up to 19. No change at our end of things. Kick Sauber get a 3rd in the DHL, and we get both cars in the DHL. Points mean prize. I mean, they don't mean prizes. Kickstarter are 40 points ahead of us, and they got 15 there. It means we won't go backwards at least. 12th and 13th is status quo because of Hamilton, really. It's still 13th, 14th, but it's a better 13th, 14th, and there's a chance we got something out of that. Helipad up. Get Zane happy at least. All right, what do we need to replace? Side pods, 2 left. Suspension, fine. Suspension missing. That was weird. Obviously, we need to manufacture side pods, evidently, then. So we have lost Matt Harmon to Ferrari. Okay, whatever. Peter Padromo is the one that we were looking for to replace our outbound head of aerodynamics who have been poached by Sauber. So we will propose a contract to him. His preference is 2 seasons, but we'll say 3 here. Again, we'll give him a signing bonus. He's already on 3.7. Sweeten the deal there. Immediately makes him angry. I'll say 14 days just to get that back quicker. Because I think they fixed that issue now. And crucially, by the way, he's the one being replaced by Diego Tondi, but he himself doesn't have a contract with anyone else. So we'll nab him if we can. And I might as well continue trying to scout the technical chiefs and find out where the end of this chain is. Oh, wait, I don't know why I've just bypassed Cardile there. I was stuck on Diego Tondi, the Ferrari one being the one that was in a chain and the other side of things. But hey, Zane's adaptability is now in the 70s. That's a progress at least. 14 days unfortunately won't be enough to actually get that response before the next race. Okay, acknowledge. Sure. We really need a better sporting director because the fatigue situation here is terrible. I can't actually get the progress I need in pit stops without having all our issues being fatigued. I just want to make sure we don't have issues. So there we are. That gets them to reasonable length. Because I'm trying to cut down the time without actually having them weary by the time when they get to the race. I think this one's fine. I might need to take a little bit out of car building here, but just to make sure we're okay for the race that follows. But yeah, Toby's limitations are quite bad. So his replacement is one I want to do myself. Right, what have we not read? The affiliates and no research project. Yeah, no, we're doing research because we haven't got the money for it, mate. New ATR period, though. There we are. So we'll put everything into one chassis there. So we started from the top and scouted Pierre Vacher, and Cardile is replacing him. Oh, no, we knew Cardile was going somewhere. That's why I didn't bother scouting him. I knew there was a reason in the back of my mind why I didn't go for Cardile. It wasn't because of Diego Tondi and getting confused. It was because we knew that Ferrari's was going somewhere because Ferrari had taken ours. That's what happened. It turns out he's going to Red Bull. That's why we started at the top, because we assumed he was going to somewhere near the top, which means Pierre's available and open to negotiation. I imagine it's going to be difficult to get him. Oh, he actually wants 4 seasons. He would prefer to start immediately, but that requires a buyout, annoyingly. We'll give him more. Okay, so he won't take an offer deadline of immediately. I mean, I suppose actually if we did that, if we asked him immediately, we can find out what he actually wants. So he needs to be higher. He wanted 5. Actually wanted 5 years, remarkably. And now, annoyingly, he's actually preferring less seasons. Right, so we'll give him a deadline that's a lot later on, and they might actually like that. We should get that in time, actually, before the next race. They want to reduce the cost cap. Nope. I will override that if that comes through, because that's just stupid. The game's impossible enough as it is. Well, hello there, Pierre. We will confirm that, and obviously any shenanigans happen, we'll put him back in our team at the end of the season, because we have agreed to this. I mean, that's ridiculous that he's coming here. Okay, so counteroffer, he wants a longer contract, and actually that's the only thing he's countering with. He won't take a lower response time, annoyingly. So, Pierre comes in over the outbound Matt Harmon. That's ridiculous, by the way, that we've gone from effectively the worst to the best on the grid. That was ballsy. I did not think he would be open to negotiation. Never used to be in previous games. Maybe that's a problem with Creator Team. Maybe the appeal system for Creator Team's broken or something, because I don't think that should be happening. I actually feel bad about that one. But he's out of a job, so I guess he's just going to take what he can get. I don't know why Ferrari just didn't do the swap. They came for ours instead. That's Ferrari's fault, really, more than anything, I guess. Cost cap wise, we're actually okay still with the way we're going, because 130, it's 137, isn't it? 139, 137, 139, I forget now. 20 million missing, yeah, so it's 139. So we've got, projection wise, still got 16 million or so wiggle room for emergency parts. I mean, it's not great because that's emergency parts, and Mick definitely is going to need an ERS at some point. Although I will say, I am keeping on top of it, and I am refunding everyone for their first mechanical part purchases. But if we have any issues with Zane's car, then I've got problems. So I need a buffer still. It's telling me that I've got an issue here because his contract's running out, but he's got a contract agreed, so I don't know why he's telling me I need to contract him. so bizarre. Because it's not telling me about his. His contract's running out at the same time. And yet, for some reason, they're unhappy here. Maybe it's because I haven't got anyone to replace him yet. Maybe that's why. But that should be Peter Prodromou if I can get him in. If I'm not mistaken, one of these two. Yeah, Gary's contract runs out at the end of the year as well, so I need to work out if I want to continue with Gary or get someone better. But we'll wait as long as possible because you still need to buy out your own contract. So I'll wait as long as possible with Gary, and in the hope that nobody comes in for him, in theory. But thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode, if you agree with the changes, if you don't agree with the changes, comment down below. I don't mind either way. But thank you for joining. Until next time, I'll see you then. Ta-ra.